Hey guys, this is Versus Z, and welcome to the final week of Riderfest as we go over the Kamen Rider series Double and O's. And here's a video review of S.H.Figuarts Kamen Rider Accel from Kamen Rider Double. If you're curious about the S.H.Figuarts toy line, check out Giltar's introduction to S.H.Figuarts. It's got quite a lot of information for you to check out. This figure was released by Bandai in July 2010 and retails for 3,000 yen, which is $35 US at current exchange rates. The packaging features a nice Accel red with black text that say Kamen Rider Accel on the front, top, and sides of the box. You also get an image of Accel and of course the S.H.Figuarts tagline on top. Promotional shots of Accel in the back, simple style and heroic action. I think Accel could pull that off pretty well. Kamen Rider Accel is the secondary Kamen Rider in the series Kamen Rider Double, with his only goal being revenge for his family's death. This red-hot Kamen Rider adds a new tone to the storyline. If we take a closer look at S.H.Figuarts Kamen Rider Accel, he's got this nice metallic red finish all throughout the body, which is disappointing, but not for this figure. It's disappointing in the fact that heat and metal can be in this nice red finish. I wonder why. You also notice that there are red colored joints rather than them being black. Honestly, for this figure, I wouldn't mind them being black, but them being red there is just a treat. Same for the joints behind the legs. You also have a silver trim all throughout the body with a few black pieces here and there. So overall, I really love the paint app for Accel, especially on the face. Now the face could have used a little bit more work. I really wish you could see the detail behind the blue piece behind there, just like how they were in the show, or maybe at least made the face flasher a little bit more noticeable. You really have to look hard to get past the clear blue piece so you can see all the details behind there. And tell me why I never noticed that was an A on his face. Oh, and check it out. It's a colored Gaia memory. Too bad there's no Accel symbol in the middle of the belt. Accel comes with a nice amount of hands that are used differently. You have these pointing hands, you also have a pointed thumb hand, two hands to use so he can hold his Accel driver belt. These two are his holding things hands, or at least holding the engine blade hands, and two splayed out hands. He also comes with some closed fists. And of course Accel wouldn't be complete without his very detailed engine blade. It has a nice gimmick so they can open the blade down to replicate a scene where Terry or Accel would place in the engine memory inside the sword. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with the engine memory, so that's kind of the downfall. Accel does benefit from the S.H.Figuarts level of articulation, and in my sense, I think better than the actual double mold. Now check this out, his head can rotate side to side, but not so much because of these huge collar pieces. He does have a ball jointed double neck joint, so that's okay. It's just that he can't turn his head so far side to side. You do get the separate armor plates, rotates in and out of the body about that far. Not as high as, well, nope, there you go. There's a rotation right below the bicep, 2-pointed bend at the elbow. Then you also get the ball jointed wrist system. Now the torso is where this beats double. You get rotation at the top, you also get rotation at the bottom. So it's a lot more free moving than it is on double. The legs can go back that far without any tilting of any angles. Kick forward that far. Kick out of the body about that far. Also rotate at the thigh. Same type of hip joint as double. You also have 2-pointed bend at the knee. This piece likes to pop off, so you want to be careful with that. This piece will also rotate, just for a gimmick. And you also have the multi-jointed ankles. Rotates, pivots up and down, pivots inward and outward at the ankles, and of course a toe bend. That's a really crazy toe bend. Thanks to the slim and awesome looking design of Accel's body and the end level of articulation of the S.H.Figuarts figures, the flexibility of this figure I think is better than the double mold. That could be just me, but at least you can make him look like he's epically revving his Accel driver belt, which looks a little awkward. And if you thought the Accel driver belt revving thing was just a little too awkward, this one might be a little bit better for you. Now it does give off the effect of skinny legs, but it really isn't that skinny. Not as skinny as it could possibly have been. Just a rear shot of the same pose, and I wanted to show you guys why I think this figure poses so well. And it's because of these solid feet. Now with double, he's got nice die-cast feet. but they're more rounded, which kind of doesn't help with stability. With Accel though, he's got solid feet and he's got a solid stance on the ground, so I think that helps a lot. You can choose to use the Tamashii Stage Act to perform the Accel rider kick, though I don't think it's really necessary with Accel. He didn't really do a lot of rider kicks in midair, not until at least Accel Trial, and he started doing more stylish poses and attacks. But with Accel the figure, I don't think it's necessary. The stability and overall posability that you get with Accel is really nice. And now for my final thoughts on this figure. The paint apps are great, the details are wonderful, and you also get a great amount of posability and articulation with this figure, especially with the new Accel mold. Now I can only find maybe 2 or 3 problems, the third one depending on how you see the figure. I do have a problem with the Accel driver popping off a little too often, and also with the kneecaps here. So depending on what you want to do with that, you could just glue that in and leave it in. Same with the Accel driver belt. Aside from that, really isn't that many problems. Paint apps are great, like I said. The detailing is wonderful. The articulation works out very, very well. I only wish that behind the blue visor you could see a little bit more of the details, like in the show. But that's pretty much it that I can find that's negative of this figure. There's also one more thing I need to point out. It's more of a precaution rather than something bad. The shoulder pads are very sharp. I probably poked myself way too much trying to pose this figure during the review. But like I said, it is just a precaution, and definitely should be watching out, especially if you've got little kids trying to play with your figure. But you shouldn't be having them play with the figure in the first place if you were smart. But anyway, that's really all I can think of for my final thoughts. I'd have to give this figure a 9 out of 10. If it weren't for the pieces popping off, once again, no figure is perfect. But with the price range you get, I think you get what you pay for. Yes, you're especially paying for the wonderful paint apps, the S.H.Figuarts articulation and detail, and the accessories. Could have been one more thing I could ask for, like an extra engine memory, but that could just be asking a little bit too much. But for what you get, I do think it's worth it. But I can really only recommend this figure to fans of Accel. There wasn't a lot of love for Accel during the show, at least what I believe. I personally wasn't too much of a fan of Accel when he first appeared, but he grew on me. The character and both the design. I absolutely love the design now, and really am looking forward to getting my hands on an Accel trial figure, which, by the way, is a Tamashii Nation exclusive. So that might be out of the picture for some of us. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review and got something out of it, and especially if you're curious, I hope this helped you out. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of Riderfest.